Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and I have always felt Warner Brothers has dropped the ball in one key area surrounding Batman. Now, they probably dropped the ball in a few ways surrounding Batman. We're talking about, Batman and Robin from 1997. That derailed everything. But post Batman and Robin, right, in the aftermath of that movie, a jewel, a gem, arose, if you will. A show premiered on the WB, before it was CW, but the WB, featuring the exploits of one Terry McGinnis in an older Gotham, mentored by an older Bruce Wayne for the show Batman Beyond. And 3 seasons of absolute amazing animated goodness came out of that because DC knows animation. They know animation. Harley Quinn animated, DC Universe, great show. Check it out. But no, Batman Beyond, fantastic show. Love it. Have loved it for 20 years. Will love it for 20 years more. But I'm finding out now that they had apparently been working on the idea of getting a movie made. Because that was always a question. Why don't they do a Batman Beyond movie? He's got enough of a fan base. They could probably make it work. If they're looking to reboot Batman, why not do a Batman Beyond movie? Now, they did do Batman Beyond The Return of the Joker, which is one of the most excellent animated films DC has ever put out. Period. Point blank. Full stop. Come on. You know, if you're going to rank your top 5, Mask of the Phantasm and freaking Return of the Joker are up there, as well as Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. Anyway, this is what we're finding out now, coming in from comicbookmovie.com, because apparently they were going to do a goddamn Batman Beyond movie, but they opted against it. And they were also going to get Clint Eastwood as Bruce Wayne. Yes, pre-Gran Torino get off my lawn, Clint Eastwood, before the chair incident at the RNC in 2008. Or 2012. It doesn't really matter. Back when he was still relatively, right? But still, Clint Eastwood as an older Bruce Wayne. Awesome. Fell through because Warner's was afraid. They were absolutely afraid. So this is coming in from Paul Dini, who worked heavily in comics. Now it says here that Batman Beyond fans have been hoping for some sort of live action revival since the acclaimed animated series left our screens almost 2 decades ago, and it turns out they nearly got one in the early 2000s. While speaking to Kevin Smith on the latest episode of FATMAN on Batman, Paul Dini revealed that he and fellow Batman Beyond co-creator Alan Burnett were hired to write the script for a live-action adaptation. The director, Bose Yakin, who did Remember the Titans, was on board as a director, and the studio is even looking at Clint Eastwood to play an older incarnation of Bruce Wayne. Now, look, personally, I love Kevin Conroy voicing the character in the show. Like, it just makes sense. Like, and also excellent continuity, by the way, just excellent. But Clint Eastwood as that role would have been insane. What I think now would be great is Michael Keaton in that role, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. He's about age appropriate, and I think he'd still be able to bring that kind of, like, cocky Bruce Wayne a little bit, but he'd be older and, like, just bitter and, like, cynical and nihilistic, and I kind of like that. But anyway, this is what Dini says. He says, it was set in Gotham's future, but it didn't quite have the fantastic futuristic edge. It was sort of like an amalgam. There was a bit of Dark Knight, there was a bit of contemporary comics, and there was Terry McGinnis and the suit and everything. It was old Bruce Wayne, which is what fans wanted out of it, what fans still want. We've been asking about this for years. We've been asking about this. Now, unfortunately, Warner Brothers balked at the trio's much darker and nihilistic take on the Caped Crusader of the future and demanded a more family-friendly version. Of course, we have to have family-friendly Batman. Never mind 1989 Tim Burton's Batman, heavily lauded as the best Batman movie by a lot of fans, especially by the group that likes to say Batman don't kill. Oh no, Batman blew up people in that movie. Michael Keaton killed people in that movie, and yet no one ever complained. Kind of funny how we have that rule for Batman, right? They haven't got mad at Zack Snyder's Batman in Justice League, like, or in BVS, like, oh my God, Batman killed those guys. Batman doesn't kill. Go back and watch Michael Keaton. He blew them up, literally blew up the Ace Chemicals factory with bombs in that movie. Those dudes did not make it out of there alive. All right. So Batman kills. Just get it over here. Get over it. Finally, Zack Snyder was right. But also Yakin refused to tone down his vision, departed the project, and the rest, of course, is history. And then they asked the question, could this happen at some point? Could this be a thing? Could we finally see a Batman Beyond live action movie? No, and the answer to that is maybe. If I guess right now, it's going to probably be over on HBO Max, maybe as a TV show. But it would be done through Greg Berlanti, who after Batwoman, I'm kind of done with Berlanti at this point. Like, get some new blood in there. Like, the guy is, his first couple seasons of the shows do well, but then after that, they kind of start they bow out and crap. But here's actually another interesting thing too. So they had dropped this project because they wanted to do Batman Year One. Now, there were talks about that as a way to reboot Batman following Batman and Robin. And this is actually one, this is a film project that was never produced based on the Batman Year One story by Frank Miller. Previously, Joel Schumacher lobbied to do it as a faithful adaptation, but the director ended up being chosen as Darren Aronofsky. And Frank Miller was going to write the script. And I'm not going to lie when I say this. They didn't want the cynical, dark, nihilistic version that Paul Dini was coming up with for Batman Beyond, but they're bringing in Aronofsky and Frank Miller to do a Batman Year One. You don't get much darker than that. You don't get much more cynical and nihilistic than Aronofsky coming off of Requiem of a Dream, right? Like at that point, yeah. Has anyone seen Noah? Right? That epic that Aronofsky did that was so freaking nihilistic and just bitter and boring. It was boring. It was a bad movie. But anyway, coming down here to the bottom of the page, it says here, Warner Brothers hired Aronofsky to direct and write the film. Aronofsky collaborated with Frank Miller to co-write. This film was intended to reboot the Batman franchise. See, this is before all the dark, gritty reboots, right? This is before all the dark, gritty stuff. This might have been coming off of the success of X-Men, how X-Men was grounded in reality, but still kept a little bit of its gritty edge. A little bit of its gritty edge, but it still maintained that realism that people really flocked to at the time. Now, Aronofsky has said it during production, somewhat based off the comic book, toss out everything you can imagine about Batman, everything, we're starting completely anew. That's not necessarily the best course of action. But he even went to Christian Bale for the role, who ultimately ended up being Batman in Nolan's film trilogy. But in 2002, the film was abandoned. And eventually, we ended up getting Batman Begins. Now, here's the thing. They started off by wanting to do a Batman Beyond movie. Thought it was too dark, nihilistic, and cynical. So they scrapped it. So they brought in Aronofsky to do Batman Year One with Frank Miller. Okay. That thing fell apart. So they scrapped it. And then they went to Christopher Nolan coming off of Memento and oh God, what was the Insomnia, which are both good films. And then they were like, hey, he pitched this Batman movie that was like more of a grounded, realistic Batman, but with a little bit of hope and optimism. A little bit, smidge of wanting to save Gotham at the very end, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either, and as he takes out Ra's al Ghul and stuff. So we know that Warner's was like dabbling in that field. And then Nolan did a good job of kind of like straddling the line. And as a result of that, we got Dark Knight. We got The Dark Knight Returns, although that's not the best movie in the franchise. But we got the total Dark Knight trilogy. And I'm happy with the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm very happy with what Nolan did. It rebooted Batman in a way that made him contemporary and relevant to our modern time. And people like that. It kind of made Batman cool again, although Batman in and of himself has never not been cool. And since then, we're hoping to get that again with Matt Reeves, the Batman. I loved Affleck's Batman, but people have been waiting. So look, good things can come from bad decisions, in my opinion. I think Dini doing it, a Batman Beyond movie, would have been great. I think they should dust off that script, contemporize it, go and still make it. Bring in old 92-year-old Clint Eastwood right now to do it. I'd be effing him behind that 100%. I'd be 100% behind that to do that. Like, let's do it. No. He's just grumpy the whole time. I'd be like, yeah, because for me, I'll tell you why. For me, the opening shot of the Batman Beyond, the opening scene in the Batman Beyond animated series, where Batman is trying to rescue the kidnapped woman, and he's getting he fights some thugs, but he's getting old. And he gets beat down a bit, and he ends up grabbing a gun. When I saw that, when I was 18 years old, 20 years ago, in Batman Beyond, my jaw hit the floor because Batman don't use guns. That was my whole thought. That to me was such an impactful opening scene to set the groundwork for this amazing 3-season animated show that it deserves to be revived, if you will. It deserves to be shown again. It deserves to live on. We've had 20 years of Terry McGinnis comics, 20 years of fans asking for Batman Beyond, asking for that new contemporary cyberpunk version of it that's a little bit more, it's cynical and nihilistic a bit, but not as bad as Aronofsky. We should get it. Hopefully Warner's start getting smart, man. Like the people that got running the show over there right now, they're not smart. They're not smart. They don't get what fans want. They really don't. They really freaking don't. And we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I really want a Batman Beyond show. I really do. I thought it was awesome. Now I want to go rewatch everything. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this one. If you made it this far in the video, and I hope you did, please be sure to type in Batman Beyond in the comment box. Like the video. Be sure to interact with it by sharing it, commenting, liking, all that jazz. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Support the channel via Patreon, link in the video description. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace the hell out. Hey, would you like more 3 Buck Theater goodness? Well, head on over to twitch.tv/3 Buck Theater for the Hollywood After Dark live stream, taking place most nights at about 10 or 10:30 p.m., where you're going to get great bits like this. But Dan Scanlon, who did Onward, also did Monsters University. And what I love about that movie is I feel it captures the essence of what the 1980s college movies were. Like, if you were to go ask him, what was your influence for Monsters University, he would tell you Revenge of the Nerds. Without he would tell you that. because that's right, folks. Twitch.tv/3 Buck Theater. See y'all there. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.